Coming up on the next episode of Zuzu All Grown Up.
In this episode, Karolyn reconnects with longtime friend and composer Phillip Erklen. Phillip has spent decades using music to uplift others and celebrate the spirit of Zuzu. Hear the stories behind their over 25-year friendship.
Look, Daddy, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
You're now listening to Zuzu All Grown Up.
She's been featured in more than 20 films from the early days of film and television.
He is a psychotherapist and her loving husband.
Together, they are on a mission to brighten your day and your life.
It's a time to smile, a time to laugh, a time to expect more.
It's time to get inspired with your hosts, Karolyn Grimes and Dr. Chris Brunel.
It's time to meet Zuzu, all grown up.
Do you believe that life is wonderful in principle, but for some reason just isn't so consistently in practice? Every life will have its ups and downs. But have you ever thought that if there were only more people around you encouraging, uplifting, and even inspiring you, then life would be more fulfilling? If only people like George and Mary Bailey were in your inner circle, then life could truly be wonderful all the time? If so, we've got good news for you, because you can find such people on this podcast and at zuzunetwork.com. This podcast is the vision of Karolyn Grimes, Zuzu, and Dr. Chris Brunel, illustrating how the timeless message of It's a Wonderful Life can be and is applied to our modern lives and situations. Indeed, when you take that message to heart, your life will become immeasurably more wonderful. Visit us at zuzunetwork.com and listen to this podcast series to learn more about how. Now sit back, relax, and get ready to enjoy another episode of Zuzu, All Grown Up.
On today's show, my good friend Phillip Erklen joins us. He is the president of International Music Syndicate and has had an expansive career spanning many decades. He's even helped mentor many world-famous musicians. There's more. He's dedicated a book to Chris and I and has commissioned a beautiful piano solo called Angels, Bells, and Petals. Phillip is here with us today to tell us all about it and his other projects, and we'll share a lot of warm and fuzzy memories from over the years, including one very big surprise he helped make for some years ago. It's going to be a lot of fun, so stay tuned.
Get ready for miracles. Get ready for Zuzu. All grown up.
Today's guest is someone whose creative heart has touched countless lives. Phillip, welcome, and let's take a little walk down memory lane. Karolyn, over to you.
Well, today I have someone that is very dear to my heart I want you to meet. His name is Phillip Erklen, and he's a musical angel. He is a good Samaritan. I'm not too sure he's got both feet on the earth. I think he has it somewhere else. But he's a lot of fun, and he's filled with music in his heart and in his soul. And I want to say hello to him today. Phillip Erklen, we have lots of memories. Shall we talk?
Yes, we do have a lot of memories. In fact, over 20 years, 2025 celebrates the 25th anniversary that we put on that surprise event for you when you came to Colorado Springs.
I'll never forget it.
It was a shocker. I mean, we had the great adventure of trying to find the Broadmoor Hotel.
Oh my gosh. You would think that this gentleman who lives in Colorado Springs would know where that hotel is. It's a very famous hotel. It's been around for years and years and years. And we drove for probably, hour and a half?
It may have seemed like it when Chris announced what type of movies he liked, and I confirmed I liked the same movies. Well, anyway, reminiscing about the event, I had commissioned Phillip Erklen, who is a world-famous composer and performer. He is so good, Billy Joel contacted him twice to help him out. And I commissioned him to write a piece originally called Zuzu, Angels, Bells, and Petals. and now it's just called Angels, Bells, and Petals. And Karolyn, you thought you were coming just as a regular show where we would show a little bit of It's a Wonderful Life, and then people wanted memorabilia, so that was upstairs. And then downstairs in the big concert hall is where we showed the movie, and we showed part of it, and at the end there was this great applause. There was about 400 people there, and then you thought we were going back upstairs for more memorabilia. And that's not what happened. What happened was I arranged to have children perform the same instruments you did as a child. I believe vocal, violin, and piano. And then Yamaha Music Corporation flew in Phillip Erklen to perform your piece, this piano solo piece, for you in person. And I remember your reaction. And of course, Chris was behind the scenes all the time, so he knew what was going to happen.
I cried. I was so touched and so emotionally stunned, you might say, that it was a moment that I will never, never forget. And since then, we've had many more together, haven't we?
We've had a lot of adventures. You've come to my organization, and we've had performances there. A duet of the music was created by the Lamb Children, and they performed that for you. It was just a wonderful event, to put that pun forward, but it was a wonderful event, and people still talk about that today. One of the things that made me very happy after meeting you and Chris was you gave me this button of you and Jimmy Stewart with his arm around you, with you holding the rose, leaning into him. So I used to wear that button during November and December, and people would see that button. Most people wouldn't say a word to me because they didn't know what was going on. But some people would mention the button. They would win a huge photo of you and Jimmy Stewart together, that famous pedal scene, personalized to them. So one day I was at Staples, the store, and the lady behind the print shop there, that area, she saw the button and she started talking to me, and she said that is her favorite movie. And I said, well, you just won this beautiful, huge photo from Karolyn Grimes. It's going to be personalized to you. She started crying right away. And then the manager came over, and everybody in the store was wondering what this terrible man said to this lady. And finally she explained to him what was happening, and then the rest of the people in the store realized what was going on. So I really enjoyed doing that.
At that event that you surprised me with, I was honored with a beautiful work of art by Ariana Richards. She was a former childhood actress from Jurassic Park, like you mentioned, and at 13 years old, she played Lex Murphy, the granddaughter of the park's eccentric owner. Now she's a national award-winning artist who created the cover art for the song, and it's a little cherub with wings. It's really beautiful on the cover of that. Can you tell us how you came to know her and get this work of art done by her?
I have a company, the CCC Music Company, and it publishes mainly piano solo music. And in the beginning, I was looking for someone to do the cover art. So I searched for a year and could not find anybody who would be able to do that. Finally, I came upon Ariana Richards, and I had no idea who she was. I just saw her website and all of these beautiful paintings. She and I started conversing back and forth, and we agreed on what we could do and how she would create these covers, which would be in oil. And then later I found out that she was the actress who played Lex in Jurassic Park, and that was many, many years ago. And so I asked her to create this, and you actually met her at one of your events.
I did, in Colorado, in Denver.
Yep, she was coming to visit with me with her husband, Mark. We went to the show where you were at. We saw Santa, and then there's a photo of you and Ariana together.
I have to say that you are one of the kindest, most generous men I have ever met, or person that I've ever met in my entire life. You carry the spirit of Christmas throughout the year. You're like an angel. You have funds that help people who can't afford take the music lessons. You have so many things that you do for people who are in need.
That's supposed to be behind the scene, kind of a secret. We've had many instances where we use the profits from our publications after production costs to help children and veterans with PTSD and physical challenges, through Lisa Jacob, her Mission Flexible. And it's just something we like to do anonymously. One time we had these two little sisters whose Christmas presents were stolen out of the back of their car. And so I contacted them and we arranged to have 1 week before Christmas, all of these beautiful Christmas presents wrapped and then given to them the day before Christmas. But the condition was that the television news broadcasters who originally had broadcast this story, that when they came back to see what had happened at Christmas, that they not mention our name or our company's name. We wanted to be anonymous, and that's how we like to keep it.
When you came to visit me when I lived in Washington, you wrote this music, The Troll Under the Bridge. It's just so great. And we went to see something very special. Do you remember what that was under the bridge?
There was this big bridge, and underneath of it was this huge troll with his hand on a Volkswagen Beetle. That's what inspired me to write that composition.
So how about the Enchanted Forest book you wrote? There were so many things that you dedicated to us.
Well, it's just fun things to do, and it's something that happens immediately. I realized this needs to be done. When I did see that troll, that's when you invited me for Thanksgiving. And these ideas just come to me. But the Enchanted Forest book, I originally had composed Pixies, Ogre, the Fairy, and then after I met you folks, the Troll Under the Bridge. And then my students wanted me to compose the other characters. Well, I ran out of time, and then Emily, a friend of mine, another composer, she finished the rest of them. Unicorn, just 4 more pieces she did. And so that book is on our website. So if anyone wants to hear the music, they can go to cccmusiccompany.com and they can hear your music, see the cover, and the same with the Enchanted Forest.
I have to ask you if you remember all the times that we've been together and the fun things that have happened to us when we're together. One time you helped me with a show at a Catholic high school. Do you remember that?
Oh, I remember that, yes.
One other fiasco.
That was something I thought was going to be big, and then it turned out to be something differently than what I thought it was going to be.
But every time I come to Colorado Springs, you always take me out to a lovely dinner, and we have a lot of fun. And do you remember one night we came out of this wonderful Italian restaurant you take me to every time I come, and it was snowing? Do you remember this?
Oh, I remember the whole thing. I turned on the windshield wipers, and on the driver's side, the windshield wiper just fell off. And I said, well, that's not a good thing. And then you started laughing so hard, and then Darlene said, well, I don't see what's so funny about that. And that broke us all up. Hardest I've ever laughed in my life.
Here it is snowing. You just turn it on and poof, it fell off.
The funniest thing is when Darlene said, well, I don't see what's so funny about that.
She's actually a student of yours.
Correct. She still studies with me. She's still as sharp as ever. I've always been a bad boy when I've been with you and Ariana, because when you were over at the table when we were setting up for dinner, I would always go to the waiter and everybody else and say, have you ever seen the movie It's a Wonderful Life? And they go, oh, yes, of course, we love that movie. Well, that lady over there sitting at the table, she's the one who played Zuzu Bailey in that movie. Oh my gosh, the commotion I caused.
Yes, you did. You gave those people a moment of joy, that's for sure, because, they loved the movie and they got to see someone from the film. That's got to be a great gift that you gave them, because I don't ever tell anybody.
Because I hate to see that moment pass and then they find out later that you were there and then they wish they would have met you. And think of all the thousands of people, lives you've enhanced. Because that movie, it began when I was in my 40s and I saw that movie and I thought, this is something special because it shows us how one person can affect the lives of so many, and those lives affect the lives of many more. And that's how I met Chris, is wanting to get a personalized photo from you to the students. And we did get one. And then after that, that's how things developed for your surprise program in Colorado Springs. But all the lives you've enhanced and people who've met you, because that movie has that important message about how one person can affect the lives of so many.
We'll join Karolyn and Chris in just a moment with more of Zuzu All Grown Up.
First, an important message.
Start your morning right with premium coffee roasts available at ZuzuNetwork.com and drink them in your Zuzu All Grown Up coffee mug. Also perfect for tea and hot chocolate.
Stay inspired throughout the day with the same gratitude journal used by Karolyn and Chris, and check out t-shirts, hats, books, Christmas keepsakes, and more at ZuzuNetwork.com/shop.
Join Zuzu's network today at ZuzuNetwork.com/join.
Karolyn is creating an international network of aspiring angels, everyday people who believe that they can help make the world a better place by making life better for even just one other person.
Let us know you want to earn your wings at ZuzuNetwork.com/join, and Karolyn and Chris will send you inspirational material to support you in your journey.
We're back with more Zuzu All Grown Up.
Can you tell me how you got your first piano?
Well, I was in the Air Force and I wanted to study music, specifically piano. So I purchased a grand piano, moved it into the dorm room where I was at. I was by myself in the dorm room, moved the bed out and slept on the floor and studied with the greatest artists I could get my hands on. And that's how I started studying my piano. I always tell adults it's never too late to take it up.
Tell us about some of the other places you learned, had lessons, and some of the people that you have worked with.
Oh my gosh, that's a long list. One of the events that music was responsible to was when I was reunited with my father of 23 years. Airman Magazine did an article on me, and they called it Liberace Move Over, and sleeping on the floor, move the bed out. My father had come to California, Caltech, to finish and get his PhD. He was from Istanbul, Turkey. And then he got married to my mother, and we had a relative who interfered, and they got divorced. And he went back to Istanbul, and he was writing letters to my mom to keep in touch. Well, this relative tore up the letters, and so we lost contact for 23 years. And this magazine article got into his hands, and it ended up him talking to a general because he helped the Air Force quite a bit. And I ended up with a tour to Istanbul 4 years. So it was music that reunited us.
Isn't that something after all those years?
That was one adventure. I worked with the piano guys, David Lantz. In the motion picture industry, of course, we mentioned Ariana, Lisa Jacob, who played Lydia and Mrs. Doubtfire, Debbie Turner, who played Marta in The Sound of Music. A lot of people, music, it's connected us, and a lot of good things have come out of that. Oh, Jackson Berkey, he is the co-founder and pianist of Mannheim Steamroller. We celebrated our 25th anniversary together, and we met at a Barnes & Noble store where he was premiering some of his CDs there, and I met him, and the rest is history. We created these beautiful events where students performed his works in front of him and an audience, and he would comment on them, kind of like a master class, and it was all recorded. News broadcasts came over, and he's just a great guy.
Can you tell me about how many students you've had over the years?
Over the years, at one time, I had 100 students I was teaching. Over the years, that would be impossible because I've been teaching for over 50 years. And I don't think I would want to start counting. But we've had some exceptional students like Kristen, who was with me at the age of 8 and graduated at the age of 18. And now she finished composing music for James Cameron and has just been nominated for a Grammy at the age of 26.
Pretty amazing. Getting the foundation for that. There's so many more that you did the same thing for. And I know I've talked to them, and they all love you so much because you've given them something that they can put in their hearts and keep there forever. I think that's pretty marvelous. I think I see your wings sprouting around your back, coming out right now.
It's really gratifying to see where these students have gone on with their lives, what they've accomplished.
I still feel like you need to tell me more about how you've helped people, because you help people all the time.
In relation to working with you, I do remember that this book that you published, there was this young lady at Blockbusters when Blockbusters was around, and I can't remember if she couldn't speak or she couldn't hear. I think it could have been both, but she was working there, she could read lips, and I had checked out It's a Wonderful Life, VHS, and she was telling me, I don't know if she wrote it down, how we communicated, but she communicated to me that she absolutely loved the movie. I said, thank you, I went on my way, and then I ordered that big photo from you, personalized to her, and then the next time I was there, I handed it to the manager to have him hand it to her. And I never heard from her again, but you heard from her.
And she was thrilled. And she was so happy that she'd met you. So what type of students do you mostly have? And how do they learn about you and how to find you?
I do not advertise at all. I stay filled up by referral, and we have ages from age 4 to mid-80s. And besides piano performance, we teach them composition, CD production, how to make YouTube videos, how to notate the music. It's like a mini university. And I teach in a different way rather than the standard way. They progress much faster, and they end up doing some wonderful things, composing themselves. And in fact, it was 2 ladies, Kristen and Sophia, who were exceptional composers at very young ages. And their works were just as great as some of the composers we have today, contemporary composers. But I knew we could not approach publishing companies because they did not want to be solicited. So because of those 2 girls, that's when I started my own publishing company.
You ended up building your own studio, and it was massive and beautiful. It had a library, had a little auditorium. It was glamorous. It was elegant. And you played the harpsichord, and you had sessions with your students. I was there. They played so many beautiful instruments, along with the piano. And some of your star students also played on that stage. It was really a great opportunity for young people to get started, getting used to sort of being in front of people when they performed. I think that was a great gift to them.
We'll join Karolyn and Chris in just a moment with more of Zuzu All Grown Up.
First, an important message.
To find out more about the organization featured in today's episode or a previous episode, and to learn more about how you can help, go to zuzunetwork.com/beanangel.
On Atlanta United, we know everyone has a ritual, a habit we never skip, to clear our minds and elevate our performance. But what do you do to keep your head in the game? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body. It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Discover the resources you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Find resources at georgia.loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute, the Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation, and the Ad Council.
Have you heard? Affordable healthcare is better than ever. And right now there are more carriers and plans to choose from. If you're between 18 and 64 years old with a household income of $25,000 or less, this message is for you. Right now, the government's Affordable Care Act is available for individual and family health coverage plans with little to no cost to you. Don't gamble your health. Call Health Care for All. 70% of callers qualify for a zero-cost health care coverage. See if you are one of them. Call now. Our agents are standing by to help you get the health insurance plan you and your family needs and deserves. If you're uninsured or struggling to afford your current health insurance, help is just a phone call away. This is not Medicaid or Medicare. This is the marketplace with the largest selection of healthcare plans from the Affordable Care Act. To find a plan that's right for you, call 800-788-2406. That's 800-788-2406.
A careless driver can change your life in an instant. Do you know what to do or who to call? If you've been injured in a motor vehicle accident and don't have an attorney, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free consultation. We can answer all of your questions and estimate the potential value of your case. Call Auto Accident Help Desk and connect with an expert personal injury attorney.
Call 800-348-7312. 800-348-7312.
Don't worry how to handle your medical bills, lost wages, and pain. We will get you the money you deserve.
They got me way more than the insurance company offered.
The consultation is free, and you don't pay any legal fees unless we win or settle your case. Make the smart call if you've been injured in an auto accident. Call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free legal consultation.
Call 800-348-7312. 800-348-7312. 800-348-7312.
Auto Accident Help Desk.
Zuzu's book club features recommendations from Zuzu herself on books she loves and thinks you will love also. All of the books that the club reads, fiction and nonfiction, are inspirational and uplifting. Folks, this is a life-enhancing club to be part of. You can sign up for free at zuzunetwork.com/book club. That's zuzunetwork.com/book club. If you're a music lover, don't miss The Enchanted Forest, a piano book created by Phillip Erklen and Emily Hartley. These compositions are whimsical, emotional, and full of charm, just like Phillip himself. Order a copy at cccmusiccompany.com. That's cccmusiccompany.com.
This is Zuzu, all grown up.
It was a custom-made studio. It was about 4,500 square feet. We had a movie theater and a concert hall and offices and kitchen and very, very spacious. And we had some of the world's greatest artists performing there. And then the young students got to interact with them also. Debbie Turner's been there. Of course, Jackson was there. You've been there a couple of times. And it came to a point where I had accomplished all of the concerts I wanted to promote and have the public witness. And so I moved on and scaled down, but I have a lot of photos and great memories of that huge studio.
Debbie Turner decorated a Christmas tree for you, didn't she? And you left it up year-round.
Well, during Christmas, I'd turn on the lights, and it'd just be beautiful, and there'd be packages underneath and a train that would run around it. During the non-season, Christmas season, I would turn off the lights, and it'd just become a country Christmas tree. Yes, that's exactly right. She did a lot of the silk flower arrangements besides the tree, and I still have one of those in my studio here.
Well, your studio there is pretty elegant, I have to say. It's in a beautiful building, a beautiful location, and I've been there, and it's quite lovely.
I was just going to say, yes, you've been here, and we went into that conference hall, that conference room, and all the people that came to meet you. This was just inviting people, a small group, and we didn't want to announce it to the public. In fact, wasn't that the time you had that big show in Colorado Springs, and it was so busy?
It was huge. People in Colorado Springs are very generous and very loving, and I always enjoy going there. One of your students made a genuine comment online. Phil is a force and a role model for, I truly believe, lots of musicians around the world. I owe so much to Phil, starting with an unbreakable friendship and mutual respect, and ending with him publishing my music at the CCC Music Company.
Oh, my goodness. That's the first time I've heard that.
How does it make you feel to know you've made such an impact on all these people who share the love of music that you have?
It has been expressed to me by beginning composers or composers that are great, but they're not as popular as David Lantz or Jackson Berkey, Philip Kevin Olson, all of these folks. How does it make me feel? It's kind of like you're planting a seed and you're seeing that seed grow, and now it's a big oak tree, and how music has affected the lives positively of so many people. I've never had any children. I've never been married because I've been so busy with what I'm doing, but it's almost like having your own children when you see these students grow up and where they go from here.
Can you tell me about some of the time that you spent in Italy?
That was 8 years in Italy. Oh my gosh, yes. I was in the Air Force at that time, and originally it was supposed to be a 1-year tour. I loved it so much I extended 7 times. I think I'm a martyr because I had to eat the Italian food, wear the Italian clothes, and drove an Italian sports car and lived in a villa off the installation. And that's why I extended 7 times to make it a total of 8 years. I wanted to save the Air Force some money, of course.
Is that why you always take me to an Italian restaurant?
Oh, I love Italian and Mexican. Those are the 2 big ones right there. But you took me to a castle on Thanksgiving when you and Chris invited me there. And that was quite an adventure. I remember that vividly.
Well, we have an association with food. We love it. We like to explore it, don't we?
Yes, we do. And that one restaurant overlooking the water. And was your daughter there with us?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember.
Yes, Bailey lives there, my granddaughter too.
Oh, Bailey, that's right.
Yeah, a long time ago.
It was a very long time ago.
Yes, everybody, I have a granddaughter, my daughter named Bailey. Her name was supposed to be something else, and I was there when she was being born, and when she came out, my daughter was in a little bit of pain, and she said, "Mom, her name's Bailey." And so she changed it right at the last minute as she was born. So she became Bailey, or Zuzu Bailey. So where do you see the future of CCC Music Company going?
Well, unfortunately, it continues to grow.
Unfortunately, that's not what you're supposed to say.
I am so busy with this company, and I've got 10 composers a month soliciting me to publish their works, and they have to be of the highest standards. And many of her works are with the National Federation of Music Clubs, which is the equivalent of a publisher winning a Grammy, because those publications are in their bulletin. And it's available to all of these almost 6,000 music clubs throughout the U.S. and the students and teachers. So that's tens of thousands of teachers. And it continues to grow and keeps me very busy. My social life is pretty well nil because of that. I guess I just have to let it grow and see where it goes from there.
Well, your social life is your musical life and your associations with people and in your business associates. That's your social life. That's your life.
Yeah, that's it. You're exactly right. And when you have these great composers jumping on board, it would be like if you have an art gallery and you're displaying the art of some of the locals, and then Picasso comes in and says, "I'd like you to display my art here." Well, you're going to see how that grows. So when these great composers jump on board because of the quality, that enhances the growth of the company.
It's going to flourish and continue to flourish down the road in a very positive way.
The positive thing, what I like about it, is that it's a non-traditional publishing company, because the profits from the company after production costs, like I mentioned before, go to help children and veterans.
That's what makes you special, because you've got such a big heart. If anyone would like to contact you for more information about the CCC, how do they do that?
I have a website. It's very simple. It's just cccmusiccompany.com. And then it takes you, you can write in, you can look at the publications, you can listen to the music, you can listen to Zuzu's music. It's just a wonderful website how the webmasters set it up.
Well, thank you very much, Phil. You're probably my best friend in the world, so I appreciate your doing this for us. Hopefully, we'll see you soon.
Karolyn, it's been a joy, and if you ever need anything in the future, you know how to contact me. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Ah, memories. The stuff that life is made of. This trip down memory lane has been a fun one, but we're out of gas for tonight. Remember, life is a highway, but don't forget to enjoy the scenery and don't drive through it too fast. I'm Seth Kennedy, and you've been spending time with Zuzu, all grown up.
Do you know someone who is earning their wings? Someone practicing kindness and service to others? Perhaps an organization or initiative helping make the world we live in a kinder, sweeter place.
Or maybe you've witnessed the miraculous, the divine, the magnificent in some way in your life, and you'd like to share it with others. Go to zuzunetwork.com/tellmystory and let us know more.
You may end up being featured on an upcoming episode of Zuzu All Grown Up. That's zuzunetwork.com/tellmystory.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Zuzu All Grown Up.
We hope you've been inspired to live your most wonderful life now and to help those around you do the same.
Remember, no matter what you're going through, no matter who you are, there are people who care about you, and your life makes a difference.
It is a wonderful life.
Check out ZuzuNetwork.com for more on today's and other episodes, including transcripts and merchandise you won't want to be without.
New episodes are coming soon.
For transcripts of today's broadcast, go to ZuzuNetwork.com/transcripts.
Watch a video clip of today's episode at www.instagram.com/Zuzu All Grown Up. That's www.instagram.com/Zuzu All Grown Up. Then click on the Reels tab from the top of the center of the page. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at www.instagram.com/Zuzu All Grown Up. That's www.instagram.com/Zuzu All Grown Up. Catch up on past episodes and discover currently premiering and upcoming episodes as well, and get helpful links and exclusive clips from our recordings. That's www.instagram.com/Zuzu All Grown Up.
Zuzu All Grown Up with your hosts Karolyn Grimes and Dr. Chris Brunell.
Announcer and guide Seth Kennedy.
Executive producer Kevin R. Stillmock.
Coordinating producer Holly Ann Way.
Technical producer Stella Joel.
Managing producer Karina Filatova. A Wonderful Land production.
In collaboration with Radio Wonderful.